You're listening to Across the Pondcast. Cybersecurity rants and war stories from both sides of the Atlantic.
Hello and welcome to Across the Pondcast, a show where we talk and occasionally rant about cybersecurity topics with perspectives from both sides of the Atlantic. I am Tib3rius. I'm joined, as always, by my exhausted co-host, Mr. Andy Swift. Andy, how are you doing?
Exhausted. Thank you.
Yeah. Why are you exhausted?
Because I've been on a very long flight, Tibsy.
Two very long flights.
Three. One of them felt like the longest flight of my life, and it was the one between Salt Lake City and Las Vegas. I'm not a nervous flyer, but it was so bumpy I thought I was going to die literally every 5 minutes. And I considered a lot of things when I was on that flight. And it was only like 20 minutes in the air or something daft. But hey.
And the reason you were on that flight and the title of today's episode is DEF CON. Andy went to his first ever DEF CON this year, and we're going to talk about it.
We are. Yeah, first ever DEF CON. It was an experience. Honestly, met so many cool people. Yeah, and I can't wait to go back again. I'm a converted man. But yeah, let's get into it. The highs, the lows, the everything. Let's go.
Awesome. And before we start, this show is made possible thanks to our sponsors. If you want to sponsor an episode, please send an email to sponsors@acrossthepondcast.net for more details. So, you're in the UK. The UK does have cons, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't have anywhere close to the number of cons that the US has.
Not on the same scale. Trying, bless us. We're trying. So we have things like we have B-sides over here. Like B-sides London is, for our country, fair sized. To be honest, it's quite good. I went to that last year and years before. It's good, decent attendance, fair amount of big names and lots of stuff to do with them. So they are catching on, but then B-sides in most of the other counties, to be honest, quite small. There's some good ones. Leeds, Birmingham, all decent sized. So it's coming, but it's traditionally not something that we've done a huge amount or done on the same scale, unsurprisingly, as they do in America. We have a lot more exhibitions here, I should say, than we do things like hacking conferences. Go stuff like
CorpoCons.
CorpoCons, yeah. It's not quite the same.
No.
Just getting hammered by vendor after vendor after vendor who have all just integrated AI into something and want to shout about it and ram it down your throat.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, not quite the same. We do have 44Con as well. 44Con, I'll give a shout to them because I've always enjoyed 44Con. It's getting a bit expensive, though, to be honest, for what it is. But I do enjoy that one.
Where's that based?
That's in London as well. Most of the big ones are all in London. But yeah, that one's over in London. Yeah. It's a good one. The Tiger Scheme used to sponsor it years ago, if you remember them. We've
talked about them on this podcast.
Yeah, yes. Now, there's still some good content, some good speakers, some interesting people walking about. Yeah, it's about a lot, really. There's a few others in between, but no, not on the same scale. And this was an experience. Nothing can quite prepare you for like your first DEF CON, I feel. I sort of had expectations just from what you hear around the place. But yeah, nothing I think prepares you for the sort of the scale of insanity of a lot of things.
Yeah. It's a unique experience in the US as well, to be honest with you. I think that with DEF CON, like it's the biggest hacker con, and that's excluding like corporate cons. Like Black Hat and RSA are pretty corporate. They're just vendor heavy. I don't know of another con that is anywhere on the same scale as DEF CON. Like I can't, and maybe someone will be able to tell me, but I've looked around. I don't think there's any other cons that like over 10,000 people that are just hacker cons. So yeah, I mean, I've been to several cons that are like 2,000-3,000 people big, but there's like a massive leap, I feel, between that and DEF CON. And yeah, so but for a lot of people coming to DEF CON, it's like, oh, holy crap, like it's just another scale. And it is like, it's just, the venue's huge. Even when it was across 4 hotels, it still felt big. So yeah, it's just one of those. Yeah, there really isn't anything like it that I've been to, or that people would tell me about it. I assume, oh, you should come to this or that, and I do. People do tell me come to this con. I do, and it's like, and it's fine. It's great, but it's like small. It's like not even a few thousand people compared to DEF CON. So yeah, it really is just unique.
It really is. And what I wasn't prepared for is some of the stuff there in some of the villages I walked around. So like if you take B-Sides London, for example, yeah, we have a little lock-picking village, and we have a guy with an ICS-style train set type of thing going up and down, relatively small scale. And then you go to DEF CON, and there's like actual villages with just literal boats just in the middle of them, with people hacking boats and navigation systems. And then you walk around a corner and there's a car hacking village, and it's got 2 cars and a van in the middle of it and a bunch of guys around it just plugging cables into it. You're like, what is this insanity? So it's unbelievably cool. It's so next level and so huge. There's so much work and effort that goes into it, clearly. So I think a big shout to all those people that do put on those villages. Like, clearly they are very well thought through and very well run. And there seems to be a lot of investment and money going on behind it as well to get from there with the stuff they've got there. It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah. And that the Maritime Hacking Village is the one with the boat. Yes. That was their first year.
Well, no way.
Yeah, that was their first year in DEF CON. And they brought a massive boat. This just goes to show, like, some of these villages, like, yeah, they really do think things through. They really do prepare. And yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. But there's got to be a lot of sponsorship money in there somewhere for someone to be able to just give you a boat to come and mess up for the day. So, yeah, I mean, kudos to them for supporting all of that stuff as well, because that's huge. It's a huge thing for the industry. But it's so nice to see. And I spent some time on one of the days just sitting around with some of the teams that were plugged into some of the car hacking stuff in the car hacking village. And they, honestly, some of the guys there are insane. But it goes from everyone who's just starting out on their journey and just learning how to get into this stuff, who barely know what an SSH key is in one case, to like guys that are just pulling off like near on 0-day stuff in some cases, which is it's absolutely bizarre, the scale of the different teams that turn up to those sorts of things. Some really impressive talent walking around. But yeah, absolutely anything goes for anyone. I've really liked the embedded village as well. That was pretty cool. Don't know if you went down there, but I think we had very different cons, me and you, but we'll get on to that in a minute.
Yeah, I usually go around as many villages as I can. This year was just a bit hectic with my schedule.
You had a packed schedule. I was like, where are you now? Do you fancy meeting? Oh, you're doing something else. You must be knackered.
I am pretty tired. Yeah. I mean, so this was my 5th DEF CON, and I feel like even that's surprising to some people because, you know, I've been in the industry 15 years. I've been in the US over 10, but I didn't start going to DEF CON really until after this. So here's the thing: I planned to go to DEF CON in 2020.
No.
Like, I was like, I'm going to go to DEF CON this year. I've put it off for too long. Everyone keeps telling me it's really good. Because I was aware of it, obviously. Like, you're aware of DEF CON as soon as you enter this industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was planning on going to it in 2020. And then, of course, we all know what happened. DEF CON actually got cancelled. So, yeah, it was actually cancelled that year. It was all online. So I guess, technically speaking, I did attend DEF CON in 2020. Just the Discord version, which was the only one they had. And then, yeah, I went to it, DEF CON 29, I believe it was, which was the 2021 version. And that, I think, honestly, for a first DEF CON, because it had been like 25,000 people for a while. For a first DEF CON 29 was unique because it was only at 2 hotels. Everything, like, it was socially distanced. They weren't expecting that many people because of COVID. You had to prove that you were vaccinated. They did like a check and everything. You had to wear a mask the entire time. And it was 2 hotels. It was Bally's and Paris. And there were only 10,000 people who showed up that year. And it just felt small. So it was good though. It was a really fun experience because you could get drinks at the bar.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, cool. This is awesome. And then the next year, so that got me addicted, that one, even though that was kind of small. And then the next year, like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. Like DEF CON 30, back at the 4 hotels that had been at for a while, I think. And then it was just like, yeah, oh wow, this is insane. And from that point on, it was like, well, I have to come back every year. I mean, why not, you know? So, yeah, that was good. But this year, so I became part of the show technically last year with my 2 contests. And this year I brought both contests back and had an event that was basically a contest itself. And then I kind of snuck another contest onto the end of one of my one of my contests. So it was like I had, depending on how you want to count, I had 2 contests, 3 or 4 contests. So yeah, it was a lot. And whether I'll do that again next year, I don't know. I probably will. I'll probably try and streamline a lot of it, though. It was just insane and crazy.
I think so. It was impossible to get hold of you, so I just gave up at one point and just wandered around doing things.
Yeah, it was just
but
great.
That's my. I feel like the first year there, if you haven't been before and you are listening, I feel like my first year there, I set out with the goal. I was like, I'm just going to try and sample bits of everything, because some people go for contests, some people go for socialization, some people go with the sole intention of just doing one CTF like 3 to 4 days, which they will work on day and night back in their hotel rooms and be the first there in the morning, the last one's leaving at night. And that's all they do without seeing too much of the rest of the show. And some people just wander around, some people just go to all the talks. Like, you could feasibly just sit there and plan your way through all of the days, just one talk after the other, hour by hour, if you really wanted. So I wanted to kind of like go and just sample all of these things and see what it's all about, understand the scale of it, and mainly get together a bit of a plan for what I liked and what I want to go back and do more of next year. Because I feel if you sample all the things, you only spend like so much amount of time doing all of them. Like I could have spent forever plugging into cars, and that I'd probably want to do more of the village stuff next year, definitely. I was trying to get to various talks, and then I wanted to come see your contests and stuff. So I was like breaking things up here and there. But I think next time I'd love to do more of the village-based stuff, because it's definitely somewhere you need to spend a little bit of time on, quite a bit of time on, to be fair, if you want to actually get anywhere with it. But like I said earlier, some of the embedded ones, for example, they're doing stuff like 101 type sessions. So they'll literally give you a board and give you a methodology for connecting to it. And if you've never done that stuff before, like messing around with JTAG ports or anything like that, the question is always, how do you go about doing that? And when do you get a chance to get your hands dirty with things like that? And they just had this all laid out there as a one-on-one session. You had laptops you could work through sessions in with them. They put together nice little presentations for you to work through. It was lovely. And there's lots of people there that are just getting their hands on this stuff for the first time, that have maybe come from like a web app background, maybe an infrastructure background, have never really touched like embedded electronics or anything like that before, which is so cool that everyone gets the sort of opportunity to go and mess with these things. So I think I definitely want to spend a bit more time on that next time I go. And obviously going to see your shows was fun. One of them, I was walking into Feud. I was walking into that at night, and I was like, let's go see what this guy's doing, like expecting it to be a tiny little thing. And you had like this whole hall to yourself, which is incredible scale of it. And the amount of people you managed to pack in there was pretty cool. But there's one guy walking into it and he was like, oh, is this the way to Feud? Is this the way? And he's like asking me. I was like, yeah, it is. He's like, yeah, I hear this is the thing to be at. If you go to anything in DEF CON, this has got to be the thing to go to. So I'm really excited. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to tell him that. I don't inflate his ego anymore. I know we're in a massive conference center, but the doors are only so sized. But yeah, it was nice. It must be nice for you to hear.
Are you telling me now? Yeah, it's very nice to hear. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of insane. Like, so for people who don't know the story behind Feud was a show. So the reason for the name, let's get the name first. It's really not that foot related. We kind of just lean in a little bit. I hack with a group called Only Feet, which is already a pun name, right? It's just a funny name to call a hacking group. And there's a reason behind the feet thing. It's based on the person who founded it. It's all on board, all right? It's all above board. Mm-hmm. We'll say that. We do tend to lean into the foot references just because it's just kind of funny. And I hosted a game show called Feud, which is basically just Family Feud or Family Fortunes if you're from the UK. And I hosted that for them, for the group internally, I think once, like online. And then at DEF CON 30 and 31, we did the show. We did Feud at DEF CON, but completely unofficially. We literally just, on Thursday evening, so basically before the con technically even started, we just found a room and went in, set up, got kicked out by a goon, and then they took pity on us and found us another room that we could actually use. So that was generally how that happened. And then I heard that you could do these. I knew about contests because the Hacker Jeopardy is the biggest. So I was like, oh, well, I could probably apply to be a contest. Applied, And through a weird set of circumstances, got told via a few goon friends that it had been approved. And so, but I didn't hear anything officially. And I thought, well, maybe it's, DEF CON doesn't do this officially stuff. It's DEF CON. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I've been told by friends like who are goons that it's been approved. That's great. And so we start planning it. And then find out about a month and a half before the con, when the schedule's published, that no, it wasn't actually ever approved. And so, like, emails went out. They were like, this is the reason why it wasn't approved. I was like, okay, can you work with me? Because we've actually been preparing this. And to their credit, DEF CON were really good about it. And not only did we figure out, how to get it approved, but they basically turned around and was like, well, we need a place to put you guys. I remember the email was literally like, would you be okay going on before Hacker Jeopardy on Saturday night? And Hacker Jeopardy is the biggest contest at DEF CON, and it's on the biggest stage. So I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, quickly, accept.
We'll take it.
And so yeah, I ended up with a first year I was running a contest on the biggest stage before Hacker Jeopardy, which was the biggest contest. And yeah, it was insane. And then this year I was a bit cheeky because that was last year's DEF CON. So that was 2024. DEF CON 32. And I think we had like 400 people in the audience show up, which was, huge. Considering the previous time we'd done it, we had like 40. And it was really good. The audience were really vibing with it. They loved it. It was great. And so this year when I applied again, and it's kind of a thing where if you've been accepted, you're more likely to get approved, right? Because you've shown that you can do it. But this year I was like, okay, well, I'm going to apply again. But we only really got main stage last year because of like a glitch in the scheduling, right? There was like a free slot. And this year I was a bit cheeky in the application process. I was like, well, last year we had 400 people show up, so we probably need main stage again.
Yeah.
And they gave it to me, so I was like, cool, okay, I think we're good now. But yeah, it was great. The vibe this year was amazing. I didn't count, obviously, but it felt like we had way more than 400 people there.
Pretty hard to estimate.
Yeah, but like, it was huge crowd. Oh, really enjoyed it.
It's a big crowd. It must have been more than that, I think, at one point. It's hard to estimate because it's so big. It's like literally so big. You're like, it's so big. It's filled up. There's lots of people here, but I still have no sort of barometer to tell me how many people are here. I can't, because it's just the scale of it is mental. And he had all of the curtains were down for some of the other sides, weren't they, as well? So it was equally like massive going that way.
Yeah, they call it track 1 and 2 because they combine the tracks, but realistically it's just track 1. It's the stage is track 1 and they fill out the track 1 sort of auditorium. But I guess technically there's overflow seating, you just can't see it very well. So yeah, it was interesting anyway. But a lot of fun. I was there for Hacker Jeopardy before that because I was asking a question. Because that's another thing. Like I met Lintile, I think. We've talked online on Twitter, but I believe, I want to say I met him for the first time last year. And we've kept in touch, mostly because of our love of game shows, a love of specifically British game shows. He absolutely loves British game shows as well. And so we've kept in touch. So yeah, it's good because I'm kind of, there's really, and I don't want, this isn't undercutting any, there are like 75 contests at DEF CON and some of them run the entire length of the con and they have a specific contest area. But there are probably what I would say 3 stage show contests, big ones, I should say. That is Hacker Jeopardy, Whose Slide Is It Anyway, and now Feet Viewed. And those are sort of the ones that are in the evening on Friday and Saturday. And I'm friends with the people who run both of those. So it's like, cool, awesome. Like, they're really nice people. Really appreciate them sort of welcoming into the weird game show clan that we have. I
like the timing of it, actually, as well. It's nice to have something to do in the evening. And I think you need it because like the chaos of the day with all the stuff going on, I don't think it would work during the day, but it's such a nice thing to go to in the evening. And everyone's got the same mindset. They're going to the venue for the same kind of reason. Like even when you get off like the monorail thing, everyone's sort of talking about it. It's like, yeah, we're going here. And yeah, it's a nice little vibe in the evening. I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, and it does give us a chance. Like if you are like me, trying to get around everything, trying to look at everything and understand what you want to go back to next year and spend more time doing, it's nice to know you can go to stuff like that in the evening, chill out, and there's nothing else going on to distract you or to be taken away from. So it's just a nice, enjoyable time. And just having a laugh with like-minded people, like it's just, it's so funny. It's so funny. So
it's entertainment. Yeah, that's the thing about the con. Like, it's not just where you can go and learn things. Like, there are parties. There were also parties going on while Feet was going on. I think GothCon is a big party they run, and that was going on upstairs. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just have that sort of party atmosphere in the evenings, and you can also go, Hacker Jeopardy is amazing. You should go see that. Whose Slide is hilarious. You should go see that. I think they had technical difficulties this year, but it's still fun. A lot of kind of improv stuff. And then you've got a stupid game called Feet Feud, which is not as much about feet, but it does allow me to make a bunch of feet puns, which is nice.
Yes.
Good.
I enjoyed it one way or another. So yeah, fantastic times. It's either that or just sit on your ass at home in the hotel, just jet lagged to hell, just staring into the abyss. So yeah, much better to have something to do. Very much enjoyed.
Let's talk about your first experience in Vegas, because Vegas is kind of a culture shock for anyone, even in America, I feel. But I imagine for someone from the UK, it must be a huge culture shock.
Yes, Vegas.
So you step off the plane. And unless the flight is already, 11 hours? Well, no, actually it wasn't for you, right? It was 10 hours to Salt Lake City or something.
10 hours to Salt Lake City. And then, like I said at the beginning, what felt like another 11 hours over to Vegas from there, even though it was like a few minutes in the sky. It was... I don't know if I had like a trainee pilot or something. I don't know, but he was like meandering his way down the runway before takeoff, and I did. Yeah, we all felt really safe. This is a long story short, but the first thing that hits you is the heat. It is the desert, obviously. It's going to be hot, but nothing prepares you for like the dry heat just hitting you like a wall of bricks. And there's one place I've been that I can liken to it, and that's when we did a pen testing job many years ago in Israel. Getting off plane there was very much the same feeling in low to mid 40s most days, 40 degrees centigrade, which is what in Fahrenheit?
It's 100 and something. It's above 100.
Yeah, blimming hot, to put it in British terms. It's a very different heat, though, that you have there compared to what you have in the UK. So the UK, obviously, small little island, but when we get heat, it's a very humid kind of heat, and it's very much unbearable. Although it's a very dry heat, which is somewhat more bearable. Still really uncomfortable though, being outside, isn't it? But yeah, it's an incredible place. It's very different. It's like they say, it's like no other place. It really is. I don't know if I'd go there for a holiday, if I'm honest. It's not my kind of place to go normally. Obviously with a kid now, not sure it's the type of place I'd particularly take a kid, although I am informed there are kid-friendly places every now and then somewhere. So I'm not sure of that. And I feel like it's a very changing place as well. Just speaking to some of the people that live there that you bump into and stuff, they all talk about tourism changing over the years, going from very sort of casino gambling centric more to shows, more to conventions and things like that. And that sort of changes the landscape of how people use things like restaurants, bars and such, and hotels, I guess. So yeah, I think it's seeing a lot of change at the moment. But yeah, it's a nice place, friendly place. Yeah, good. I enjoyed it.
I was going to say the first culture shock for me was getting off the plane in the airport. And obviously the airport's air conditioned. So the heat isn't the first thing. Which was weird for me was just the airport is a casino.
I sort of I looked at that, I stepped off and I was saying, typical.
Unless you've been to Vegas, that airport, you just don't understand. Like where you would usually put like just seats in the middle of like, areas just for people to relax. There were just slot machines.
Just randomly. I couldn't get out either. I remember when I landed and you're like, you were messaging me going, where are you? I was like, I don't know where I am. I can't get, like, there were no signs for the exit anywhere. All I could see was just gambling machines. I was like, okay, I'm stuck here now.
The airport is kind of confusing. Yeah. But hey, you got out eventually, which is good.
I got out eventually. The other place that I wasn't prepared for, and you mentioned this as well, because I bumped into you on the streets of Vegas one night, as we were both going to get supplies, is the 7-Eleven.
which also had slot machines. And I didn't realize that because that was the first time I went to a 7-Eleven in Vegas. I was like, I should probably get some snacks. And I went to get some snacks because of LineCon the next day, which we'll talk about in a minute. I always grab snacks for LineCon, mostly because one year I was late. I was running late. I skipped breakfast and I went to LineCon without food or drink. Yeah, that was a mistake. I seriously came close to passing out because it was hot and I was just exhausted and didn't have anything to drink or eat. And yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I went to 7-Eleven to get snacks and like drinks for the next day, and literally was like, oh, there's 4 slot machines just in the corner.
Yeah, so
of course there are. Why wouldn't there? Why wouldn't there? It just seems so right for Vegas. Why wouldn't there be?
Why wouldn't a 7-Eleven need a gambling license? Of course, insane. But yeah, the water thing's also interesting. Before we start talking about LineCon, I learned that very quickly. Take a bottle everywhere with you because there's loads of places to fill up water wherever you go, and you do end up so dehydrated even if you are just walking down the road. Like you can walk 5 minutes down the road there, and because of the heat, you just end up sweating so much, and you feel this instant relief because everywhere has air conditioning at the other end. You're like, yeah, I'm fine. Until a few minutes later, and it suddenly hits you. You go, man, I'm thirsty. But everywhere has places to fill up. So, yeah, take a bottle with you wherever you go because it's just free water. And the other thing I noticed you tend to find is restaurants, bars, anything. Most places tend to give you just a glass of water anyway, if you ask for it or not. It's just like, I've ordered a coffee. And you're like, here's your water. And you're like, yeah, I didn't order that, but thank you. I do need to hydrate as well. So they're quite sort of, I think they're well aware of where they exist in the world, in the middle of the freaking desert. But yes, LineCon. So this is something you enjoy for some weird reason, and I can't wrap my head around. And I don't know if this is because I decided not to experience it at all. I walked past it, I observed it, and I still have no ambitions to be part of it, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's because I'm British and I do enough queuing over here or what. Or if it was the guy in the queue that I saw that just repeatedly on his phone, he was just getting hit in the head with a beach ball over and over again as he was trying to stand there, the poor bloke. I don't know, but it doesn't appeal to me. But tell me the appeal of it, because you seem to love this stuff.
Okay, well, I didn't used to love LineCon. Let me put it that way. But yeah, the line to get your badge, the line for merch. Badge line is usually fine. Merch line is insane. Like, I've known people who've been in the merch line for 6 hours. And then they get to the end and like a bunch of stuff sold out, and it's annoying. Now, I used to hate that. I now know a hack, let's say. I now know a hack for it, which obviously I can't reveal. Because the problem with this hack is if I reveal the hack, then it no longer freaking works. So I have a hack for LineCon, which significantly shortens the amount of time you actually have to spend in line, which is nice. Yeah, so that's why I enjoy it now, because I get to hang out with my friends for a few hours, and it's all fun. But yeah. So honestly, it's just nice. But the thing is with LineCon, you can do LineCon different ways. There are people who will start lining up, I think, at like 8 p.m. the previous evening, and they will like literally camp out in the convention center overnight and just have fun, which I guess is cool. That's fine. If that's your thing, you can do that. But I don't. I usually just wake up extra early on the Thursday, head on over, get in line, and enjoy my place in the line and hang out with friends. And it's kind of like the first experience you get of DEF CON. So that's why I like doing it. You also meet new people in the line.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, I imagine you do. There's lots of people that are so friendly in lines, actually. I'll try and keep it on the topic of LineCon, but the social engineering booth queue was absolutely huge for most of the conference. And I remember one day just waiting in there, and I may have left one of my colleagues in the queue whilst I went to go and find you and say hi and acquire stickers and badges for stuff and then go back to find him. But went back to find him and he was just talking to people all around him, different people from different walks of life saying hi. And the other thing to say that struck me about DEF CON is it's not all just people that are pen testers. There's people from all walks of like different types of security, different types of IT. And someone I was speaking to there put it quite elegantly. They're like, well, security is kind of everyone's problem now. Security is all of IT. I was like, yeah, it kind of is now. We need to bake it into secure coding practices. We need to bake it into like our everyday IT life, network design, network architecture. It's literally everywhere. It's everyone's responsibility. It's not just the plaything of pen testers anymore. So yeah, I thought that was quite nice. Everyone's got this kind of like common link, and it's very easy just to talk to people in lines. But yeah, BlindCon. I remember you messaging me the night before, I think it was, or you told me, because we were in the bar, weren't we? And we were like, so when are you getting there? And we are like, I'll probably roll up at like 10 o'clock or something. And you're like, well, I'm going to be there at 7. I'm like, oh. I can't do that. We were too tired at that point from all the plane experience to get up that early. But equally, at 10 o'clock, to go get badges and things, we just walked straight in, straight out again. There's no queue at that point. Obviously, to get merch, but merch line I don't think really dies down through most of Thursday. It doesn't seem, but
it doesn't.
It stays very
merch line is insane. That's the real line con, honestly. And because like the thing is, you can buy your badge at the for like cash, and that usually doesn't have a line because most people are pre-reg, and people are like, but why wouldn't you just, there's no line, why would you just buy the badge at the door? Especially because it's cheaper. And it's like, well, actually, like this year they had, because sometimes they have badge issues. I say sometimes, it's almost every year they have badge issues, and this one they like a delivery just didn't turn up, like a shipment of badges didn't turn up, so they started having to give out card ones, And the way they do it is if you pre-reg, they basically will prioritize you getting an actual badge, and the cash ones will get as many as they have until they run out, and then it's like literally card. It's like, that's the risk you take.
So we paid by cash for the experience. Because something unique about Nukish about DEF CON is that you can on the day just turn up and pay cash. It's like literal cash, notes for a badge, and that's your ticket for all the days, which is quite cool. No card machines, yada yada yada, and that's such a HackerCon thing to do. Like, I love that. So we're like, we've got to experience that. We shouldn't order ours online and just be normal. We got to turn up and just hand over cash at least once. Next time I might order it online ahead of time, because I didn't like walking around with a bit of card around my neck. It felt a bit weird. I had to go over like $500 for a bit of card for a few days, which was
well, you pay for the con.
You do. It's not all about the bit of card.
It really isn't.
But
this is the thing that irritates me online with people complaining about the badge. And I get it. The badge this year was non-electronic, but that was already known. If you'd done any research at all, you would have figured that out. Like last year was literally a Game Boy emulator. That's fun, right? If last year was your first DEF CON, and I've talked to people where last year was their first DEF CON, and they didn't realize that every other year is, and so they showed up, and the badge is literally just small plastic. It actually did have a really complicated badge challenge. Yeah. By the way, I posted about it online. Like, it was insane. You had to like go around the venue. They had like different posters and stuff on the walls and on the big board. And you had to like look through some of the badge sections to, it was really well designed, I think. And a lot of people miss that.
I was kicking myself at that.
Because it doesn't have buttons and batteries. No. It's like, I
love that stuff.
But
I love that stuff. Yeah. Like you should put it in the show notes or something, because like, it's honestly or in the detail section after, because it's such a cool thing to follow. And I remember on the first day walking through and seeing the big banner in the lobby and just going, oh, that's cool. It's got some random squares floating around with hex codes after them. That's neat. That hex code looks weird. And then I thought nothing more of it. Until much later on when we actually got the badges, because we had these card ones. I didn't think anything of it. Then obviously you get the badges, and I keep looking over there because mine's hanging up. But it's got lots of like coloured filters on it, as you say, and then all of a sudden it clicks into place, and you go, maybe that had something to do with that, and it turns out it did. But I wasn't really in any mood to do that on day 2, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and that's I think the only downside about that badge challenge is apparently it was time based. So like you couldn't, if you started solving on day 2, you couldn't really get anywhere because you had to be there. You had to start on day 1, which some people will hate, and some people will be like, yeah, that makes sense actually. Like because there are people who do try the badge to solve the badge. So I think, but the issue with it is, especially when you're having to give out card badges as well. Yeah, like you can't really solve stuff. Yeah, that kind of might be irritating. But at the same time, I think the challenge overall was really cool. The write-up was insane. It was like reading through it, I'm like, how the hell did you even make that like jump, that logical leap. That's crazy. But I will say, the badge, you don't pay for the badge. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, they'll complain about the badge is just plastic, it has no thing, and I'm paying $500. Well, you're not. Like, the badge, even the badge last year, I believe, and I don't know where I heard this stat, but last year we had last year by I mean DEFCON 32 had a Game Boy emulator in the badge. The badge was basically a Game Boy, and I believe, and this is just what I heard, and I can't find the source for it, but I believe it cost $30 to make. When you bulk order, right? So if you take the whole bulk order price and divide it by the actual cost of all the badges, it was like $30 per badge, something like that. So you're already not paying $500 for last year's badge, but like you're paying for the con. The con is like, look around, like you're in the LVCC. You think they're just giving that for free? Yeah, no.
I'll put it this way: I'm not flying to Vegas for a badge.
Right. Exactly.
There's so much.
I get it. It's disappointing sometimes when it's like the badge isn't that spectacular. I actually thought it was a pretty cool badge, to be honest. I thought it was really they're really well designed. The only, in terms of the aesthetic, okay, the screw that came loose, fine. I understand people's frustrations with that. Personally, I tightened that screw on literally day one using a knife at a restaurant, and it did not come loose the entire con. So, yeah.
Mine was already pretty tight, so mine didn't fall apart. I didn't have any issues with it, to be fair. And I think there's a lot of people that didn't, but equally, I saw a fair few people like just randomly walking across this canteen and their one just exploded with like no notice. I think it's because they did have a screw on one side and a captive on the other side, so it was... They could have maybe done with just sealing it on both sides and not just having a screw. But hey, it was a cool badge one way or another. I liked it. I liked the challenges behind it.
Yeah,
I read the write-up and I enjoyed actually just going through the write-up, to be honest. But yeah, it's about far more than the badge. But yeah, I did enjoy the badge even though. Anyway, next year, when I go back again, might even get an electronic one.
It'll be electronic. Hey! Yeah. So, if you pre-reg, you should get one.
So yeah.
Unless there's a shipment issue, which there probably will be. There'll be a shipment issue, or there'll be a design issue, or there's always something with the badge. That's the kind of thing about DEF CON. It's a meme at this point. There's always something to do with the badge, and people always complain about the badge. Whatever. I get free badges, so I don't really complain anymore, because like contest, if you run a contest, you can get free badges, which is also a perk of running contests. I'm not sure I'd say it's worth it.
I was gonna say you went
the amount of work I have to put in to run these goddamn contests. Yeah, I'm appreciative of the badge. I like getting my badge. I especially like getting the contest badge because it's like a yellowy, sometimes gold color, which is kind of nice. Yeah, but whatever. It's a lot of work, but I do enjoy running the contests. I'm not going to complain about getting a badge.
That's the main thing. You enjoy it, so crack on doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I think, was it you or some of the people we were with? I can't remember. I mentioned it on the day that like the size of the convention center as well. It's just look around. That's where the money goes. Like that convention center alone is not going to be cheap, and the sheer size of it is unreal. And I'm convinced a lot of people didn't venture around to the other bit that goes around the other side where you've got all the workshops and things, because there's a whole another section to it. And I think they're building even more, aren't they, to extend it further around? There's a bit of building work going on, it seemed. So I don't know, it's huge. It's over 3 levels and there's just room after room with different talks going on. The tracker app as well. Should probably give that a shout because I would have been lost without that. And when you go in there, the little booklet and program you get given in your nice little hacker bag, which makes you stick out like a sore thumb at the airport, I must say. But I did have it on, it's a point of pride. But yeah, little booklet only really has like the main talks on it, stuff that's on the main tracks. And then it didn't seem to have like a load of like the smaller talks and things like that. Whereas the hacker tracker had literally everything, like contests, events, every talk, literally everything in there was really good. And you can filter it all down as well, depending on your interests. So yeah,
you can bookmark it, which is great.
Bookmark it too. So yeah, I did that a few evenings.
You can bookmark it and then just look at your bookmarks, and it's great. Yeah. You can also like add it, so you can add it to your calendar. I think it automatically will notify you when the thing you've bookmarked is going to start. So that's
it cool. Does. It comes up, tells you where to go, what hall it's in. Yeah, perfect. That's what you need. Worked really well.
And what's great is it's not just for DEF CON. Like I believe, and don't quote me on this. I believe it was originally developed for DEF CON, but they support multiple other cons. So yeah, you can change the con at the top and get the schedule for everything else. So that's really cool.
Didn't try that, but
there you go. Next time you go to a con.
Either way, it's I really enjoyed it. Super. I think there was one occasion where it had some details that weren't quite correct on them for some of the smaller talks that were in one of the villages, but minor issue, to be honest.
The village might have changed. That's the thing. Yeah. It is literally one team, I think, updating it. So
I think it was more a case of the village had changed their schedule around and hadn't updated, and it's like a last minute change. So I can't really shift blame for that. And all of the goons as well were really helpful, like pointing people in the right way, in the right direction. I can't say a bad thing about the goons. They're super helpful.
I can't either. I know that I was on Reddit, and I know there are a bunch of complaints every year about the goons. And the thing about the goons is they have a name tag on them. They all have to wear their name tag. If a goon is being rude or if a goon is being unhelpful, you have to report them. Literally, just to report them. There is a hotline you can report the goons to. You can just report them to a security goon. I think at the end, they release a transparency report on the closing ceremony, and there'll always be a goons removed from staff section, and it's always a positive number. So I don't have ever seen it be 0, and it's because there are like 700 plus goons.
Oh yeah, but
and goons are staff. Goons are basically the people they volunteer to help run the con, showing people everywhere, like basically patrolling, make sure everything's going smoothly. But it's a voluntary position. They have new goons every single year. They train them for a little bit. And the problem is, some of those goons are going to be not good. And they're going to just do it because they want the goon badge, and they might have a little power trip. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you gotta tell DEF CON when you see that happening. So yeah, but the security goons, SOC goons, really cool. Oh, really good. I had an experience with the SOC goons, and they were amazingly professional, which is great to see. But yeah, again, I don't have any issue with the goons.
They're fantastic. Like the social engineering line that we were in was really, they were like going around entertaining people. One of the guys came around and he was, I can't remember his name, apologies, but he was going around and he had a load of like pins and things, like collectible pins, also big in America, not so big over here really. Weirdly, but yeah, we came around with like a load of pins, and he was like he's like doing like little mini quizzes about various things, and get the quiz right, and you win yourself a little pin. And I was like, that's just nice. It's quite, people are being entertaining, and then equally there was some weird stuff. Like we walked in at one point into one of the halls because there was apparently something going on, but I think the timings had slipped a little bit. And there was those two goons at the front who were just willing everyone in, going, "Yeah, come in, quick guys, everyone in." And then there's like a second wave of goons behind them going, no one come in, go back the other way. And you just getting ping-ponged between these two. And they had to have words with each other at some point, which was quite amusing. But no, generally really positive. You feel super safe. There's literally like 1 million of them down every hall you walk down. And it's, there's so many points of information if you get lost or need help, or they're so super helpful. So shout out to them. Wouldn't happen without them, would it really? So
yeah, no, I wouldn't. All right. Most and least favorite part. Let's end on I guess do least favorite part first. We'll end on a high note. So what was your least favorite part, Swift?
Meeting you. No, no. Least favorite part. I don't know if I have one, and I mean that sincerely, not just to be an awkward knob, because I know it's a really rubbish answer. But I don't think I had one. The whole experience was unique and really interesting. The talks were really engaging. Yeah, it was a bit crap maybe getting the old cardboard badge for a day or so, but honestly, that's not what you pay for. It's not what you're there for. So,
because it showed up, right? The shipment did show up the next day.
Oh, it came up on day midway through day 1, I think, or was it beginning of day 2? I can't remember, but whatever. It turned up eventually within plenty of time to enjoy it. So maybe not to enjoy the contest of it so much, but that's probably my only little grumble. Other than that, the whole thing was really phenomenal. I don't think I have a least favorite part, if I'm honest. So what about you? Do you have a least favorite part? Because you're a veteran of this, so you've done a few, so you've got other things to compare it to. So
my least favorite is honestly just self-inflicted, and that's just the fact that I was so busy doing stuff that I didn't get many chances to go around. I saw less stuff. Like I didn't even make it, and I wanted to go drop some stickers off at the Lonely Hackers village place just because they have like a sticker swap table, and I just didn't manage to even get to it at all. And I was like, oh. And I realized, I was like, oh well, there's no point now. But so yeah, that was more annoying, but that was completely self-inflicted. And I think next year I need to, I always say this, plan a little more. Maybe set up a few alerts in my phone. Oh, by the way, after this, you should probably go drop stickers off because that's really important. But I did manage to give almost all of my stickers out in terms of like the ones I wanted to give out.
Yeah.
So that's good. The DEF CON ones specifically. But yeah.
I think my least favorite part actually was probably not bringing enough laptops.
Wait, how many laptops did you bring?
So I just bought the one, but it was kind of like I was like, I've heard things about this con, most of which pretty much aren't true, to be honest. And I was like, I'm not going to take my work laptop, but that's just common sense, right? But I want to take a laptop that is disposable. So I took that, but I think I wish I'd spent more time preparing it so I could do a lot more of the stuff in the villages without having massive dependencies where I need to go and download a bunch of shit that I have on my regular laptop at home. I forgot that. So I kind of panic bought a laptop. It's a long story short. I panic bought a laptop and then I went to Vegas. I installed like Kali and a few other bits and bobs on it. And then I forgot to install like the rest of my toolkit, which would have been super helpful. And the other regret I have is not being able to buy certain things because I suspected most of the stuff pretty much looked like a bomb to the untrained eye. Because there's a bunch of hardware out there, and I was like, there are things like CAN bus fuzzers and stuff like that, which also double up as a nice little badge. I was like, that looks cool as hell. I'd love that because I want to do some CAN-based projects soon. And I was like, that would be super helpful, that sort of thing, just pre-pinned out and everything. So I was like, that's cool. The trouble is, if I buy that, I don't know if I'm getting through customs to take that away at the other end because someone's going to ask a question about it. And yeah, I didn't want to risk anything because some of those things are quite expensive. So I was like, my one regret is I don't know how to get this stuff back to the UK, but I'm sure there's a way. Post it somewhere or order online or something. But yeah, if anything, it gave you a chance to see what's out there. But yeah, those are my two regrets, I say. I wouldn't classify it as my worst points, but those are my regrets anyway.
What was your most favorite part?
Meeting you.
You've already met me so many times, Swift.
Yes. I don't know. So meeting some other people, meeting some friends. Like the last day, ironically, got to walk around with some people. I was kind of left to my own devices that day because you were crazy busy that day as well. And I just had lots of time just to wander around and just talk to people. So I met some really cool people that day, and it's just everyone's really friendly. So that was a really nice part of the experience. Is being social, seeing people, meeting people in our industry is sometimes a little bit difficult, awkward, and weird because a lot of our time spent at home or on client sites and not always working as a team because there's a lot more work from home stuff going on these days, isn't there? Let's be honest. So it's a nice chance just to get around and talk to like-minded people. And the lovely thing is you meet people from across the seas, and they all have the same sort of opinions of things and the same sort of views and the same sort of troubles, woes, and client issues. And it's quite refreshing just to talk to them and get a slightly different take, but also sort of go, yeah, this is all common stuff that we all face. That's quite reassuring in a way. But yeah, nice to meet people. I love the scale of it and how beginner-friendly a lot of the places were. So like a lot of the villages were so sort of user-friendly and 101 type welcoming. So if you are new to a particular area, you do a lot of web apps, you do a lot of infrastructure, you want to go learn embedded stuff, people are there to help you and people help talk you through it. And if you sit down at one of the workstations and you look vaguely like you don't know what you're doing, someone will come along, check in on you and help share information. And you tend to find right next to you, there'll be another guy or girl who doesn't know what they're doing as well equally, and you'll both start chatting and figuring out stuff between you. So I just love the atmosphere, the vibe, and how helpful everyone is to them. I really loved that. Talks are awesome as well. There's some really interesting people talking at those events. So if you do go, definitely try and catch some of those. But make a list on Hacker Tracker of the ones you want to see because it gets overwhelming very quickly because there's so much there. But yeah, phenomenal. Oh, social engineering booth. I can't.
That was good
we can't end this podcast without talking about the social engineering booth. So Oh my God. I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy and I want to do it. But they was, you walk into a kind of quiet room which basically feels like walking into a funeral, like a wake or something. Everyone's just sat in rows, just super dead quiet. And then they have this recording booth in the corner, which is a padded soundproofed room where they're just making phone calls out of and just socially engineering various places, which is funny as hell. But super cool to watch. You pick up lots of tips and hints from there as well. It's probably another debate to do for us, maybe on another podcast about social engineering, the various aspects of it, what works and what doesn't, what's dead and what's not.
I've invited Rachel Toback onto the podcast. She would like to do it. So
I think so, because I walked away from that with a really interesting view of phone-based social engineering, or whatever you really want to call it. 101 names. Vishing is a common one, yes. But yeah, it was just a lot of the time. I think that's seen as quite a dead art for a lot of places, but it's still alive and kicking. And I think just listening to all the different teams that have done it, because we spent ages just watching these different teams coming in and out of a booth and try different stuff. I think there's very much a right way of doing it and very much a wrong way of doing it. And it all seems to be around how much research you do and the targets you pick out as to how successful you're going to be, because the world is far more trained on that stuff than it ever was, like even 5-10 years ago. So, but yeah, incredible experience to watch that. And again, some amazing people putting off some cracking and some amusing fishes along the way. So yeah, check that out if you do ever go there.
Definitely.
You went there as well, didn't you? I think.
Yes, I went. I caught the end of the robots one. Where they had AI doing it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because it was just chaos. And then I saw on the last day they did like cold calling. So it was against, because I believe the targets they call up in the actual competition are all that the companies have all said they can do it. Because they're actually trying to get actual details and stuff. But yeah, the cold calling was literally just random places, but asking for less sensitive materials. So yeah, my most favorite part is going to be Thief Feud, just because it's like a big show and I get to entertain people and I really enjoy doing it, even though it's like stressful as heck. Yeah, I just love it. I don't know. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do. It's also like one of the last things I do at DEF CON, because they put me on the Saturday night. So last full day of DEF CON, and I don't know. It's big. It's just a big thing. It's just fun. I get to have fun on stage. I get to like insult the audience. I get to like insult the teams. I get to make fun of it. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
It was good. And you visibly relaxed after as well once you did, because that was like your events done. You were, you could see it in your shoulders. But no, that was fun watching that as well. I enjoyed that. But I laughed a lot, to be fair. So yes,
awesome.
Congrats.
Thank
I did
you.
sit at the back though, so I don't know if you even spotted me, because I was quite a way back. I was like, I'm not going to be spotted back here.
I did not spot you.
I was very conscious. I didn't want to sit there and just go hi and like wave to you. so I sat at the back and just laughed my head off. But yeah, it was good. With all the cleaning staff at the back waiting to come in, ready to clean stuff. They're like waiting around there with their hoovers and dusters and stuff.
Going like, what the heck is going on? Like,
yeah. What the hell is this? But no, yeah, that was awesome. Anyway, overall, I had a great time. Yeah, I'm going back again.
I'm glad.
Going back again, 100%. I can't not go back now.
Got you addicted.
Yeah. I'm going to go back next time. More laptops, more prepared, a bit more of a plan, and probably
do the fishing competition, right?
I might do if I find people to do it with. That's the thing. If I find people to do it with, there's a couple of good social engineers in my team where I work as well. So if I don't know what you're doing, we could do it. We could do a across the podcast team.
I don't know if I can do that. Maybe.
I don't even know if you've had time to do it. That'd be the thing. Cram it into your busy schedule. You celebrity, you.
It's also there's a lot of stuff that goes on before the con that you have to do, and there's also you have to get approved and stuff. Like there's like a pre-competition. Yeah. So yeah.
It would be fun to do. Maybe we shall, but I definitely want to do some of the more, some of the villages stuff a little bit more next time as well. Because I sat down, had a little plug into a few things, had a little play, a little dabble. I'd love to spend more time there doing those sorts of things next time. Just be a bit more. Now I know what it's all about. I got my bearings. Good. Also, the monorail's brilliant.
Cool.
That might be one of my other favourite things, the monorail. I love the monorail.
I've never taken the monorail, so I'm glad to hear it's good.
It's honestly quite fun. I think it's like $15 for 24 hours of monorail fun riding up and down. It connects all the big hotels and convention centers and just goes up and down all day long. And there's one every like 8 minutes. It's air conditioned as well, which is nice. But honestly, I found if you're staying in one of the big hotels, just going from the convention center back to the hotel, it's like a couple of minutes walk to the monorail station, and then air conditioned ride back that goes basically into the hotel's lobby when you step out of the station. So it's just so easy. Not that getting Ubers and stuff isn't easy, but yeah. That's the novelty of being on a monorail as well. It's quite fun. Although I can't stop thinking about the Ever Simpsons episode of Monorail. And that was playing on my head for like 4 days. So anyway, on that monorail related note, we shall end it for podcast here.
Yes. Come to DEF CON next year. We'll be there for sure.
I'll give you a tour of the monorails.
Andy will give you a personal tour of the monorail.
Anyone that signs up. We'll open sign-ups around like July or something.
I'll get you a conductor's hat.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I've always wanted one of them.
Well, thank you for listening. I've been Tiberius. He's been Andy Swift. This has been Across the Pondcast. You can find all of our social media links in the episode description or on acrossthepondcast.net, and we will see you next time.
Awesome. See you soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.